Pestilence spreads in South Korea. This is Skywatch TV News for June 4th of 2015. I'm Derek Gilbert. Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS, has infected 35 people there. 3 have died so far. Nearly 1,400 have been quarantined by the government of South Korea, and 1,100 schools have been closed to try to stop the spread of the disease. Now, MERS was only identified in 2012 in Saudi Arabia. 443 people have died from the disease over the past few years, but there are reasons to be concerned about this outbreak. The mortality rate, as I mentioned earlier this week, runs 30 to 40%. In the past, it was believed that close contact with a patient was required to contract the disease, but some of the people in South Korea who've been infected spent as little as 5 minutes with the patient, and some only shared a hospital ward. And the most recent victim of the disease, it's reported, tested negative for the virus, which begs the question, how many people in South Korea now are walking around as false negatives? You see, this disease, as with many diseases in our modern society, are only one plane ride away from being transported to another continent. And South Korea is an important economic trading partner with nations like Japan, China, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and so forth. We'll keep an eye on this story. Well, instead of phoning home, ET might be on hold. I told you yesterday about a potential bombshell claim last weekend at the Disclosure or Contact in the Desert UFO conference. Attorney and ufologist Daniel Sheehan reportedly said that Pope Francis was about to issue an encyclical in which he would reveal the existence of extraterrestrial life. That encyclical is supposed to be released this week. Now, a future Vatican disclosure event was predicted by our friend, researcher and author Chris Putnam a couple of years ago. I talked with Chris via Skype this morning, and he said disclosure news might be premature.
Well, Derek, the thing that's not clear is, did Daniel Sheehan even really say this? It's an internet rumor that he said Pope Francis will announce this on June 15th, which happens to be my birthday, so that was a little weird for me, being the author of a book, saying that he might do something like that. But, it's not clear that he actually said it, and apparently he's denying it right now, so I don't know. Even if the Pope were to announce something on the 15th, my initial suspicion is that it would be something more along the lines as it's, acceptable for Catholics to believe in the existence of ETs. And they've been saying that for quite a while anyway through the astronomers. So I really doubt this is anything like the announcement that they really have evidence that there are ETs. But I think it's more along the lines, it's consistent with Catholic teaching to believe that extraterrestrials exist. That would probably be about the extent of it.
Zealand Communication News Network, a news service devoted to the topic of alien disclosure, reports that they contacted Mr. Sheehan directly, who denied making any such claim about the Pope disclosing the existence of ETs. The original story appears to trace back to a website where anybody can post articles without any kind of vetting. Sheehan did mention in his presentation the Pope's encyclical on climate change, which we've told you about here in this program. So it's possible the author of the story conflated the papal encyclical on climate change with the topic of alien disclosure. It's also possible that this is just a psyop to further embed the idea of imminent disclosure of alien life into the public psyche. We do know, thanks to Chris Putnam and Tom Horn, that the Vatican has an unusual level of interest in the subject of extraterrestrial life. Now, speaking of religion and UFOs, Buddhist monks in China got a shock when they checked their security cameras last Friday night after an event triggered those alarms. Skeptics who have viewed this video say it was probably a drone or a remote-controlled toy. The war on human exceptionalism continues. I've told you about the lawyer with the Non-Human Rights Campaign who's arguing before a judge in New York that a pair of chimpanzees at Stony Brook University should be declared persons under the law. That would allow them then to be released from this university laboratory for being unlawfully imprisoned. Now comes a new book arguing that plants have intelligence. It's just that we humans can't see it because of our ingrained cultural biases. Now, the plants are wonderfully complex and intricately designed by the Creator, but to suggest that they're intelligent is part of a campaign to convince us, humans, that plants are more like us and thus entitled to similar protection under the law. A denial of human exceptionalism. You see, plant rights would come at the expense of human rights. And if this sounds crazy or paranoid, I have to point out that in two nations in the world, Switzerland and Ecuador, the rights of plants are protected in their national constitutions. And there are ads that are running on cable TV now, which you may have seen, from a law firm specializing in environmental causes because the earth needs a good lawyer. We depend on your support to get the word out about stories like this, and it is our way of thanking you this month that for your gift of $10 or more, we'd like you to have the copies of the books Angels in the Fire and the Disaster Survivor Bible. We will send those out to you at no charge. Again, while supplies last, for your donation to Skywatch TV of $10 or more, and instructions on how you can donate and support our work available on the website at skywatchtv.com. Good news, if you missed the Steve Quayle interview with Tom Horn about his newly expanded and revised edition of the book Genesis 6 Giants, that interview with Steve Quayle now available at the website, skywatchtv.com. And of course, if you have a Roku device, a set-top box, you can play that interview or these daily news updates anytime, day or night, on demand. The instructions for adding our Skywatch TV Roku channel to your account are also posted at Skywatch TV. Log on skywatchtv.com/Roku. We appreciate you watching and your feedback. Send me your email, dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. Thanks for watching. As we keep watch, I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is Skywatch TV.